What's up, guys? This is Migs from Market Open. I wanted to do a midday market recap, see where I ended up on the day. I can honestly tell you today was a roller coaster. I was up, I was down, I was flat, dug myself out, and ended up coming out with some profit at the end. It's not much, but it is better than where I was earlier. So, take you guys through my first trade. So I took 300 shares. I bought 300 shares of SPPI at 2019. So let's see here at 9:34. So I bought it in at this candle. I saw that it was bouncing off of VWAP. SPPI was one of my main candidates in the very morning. It moved up very strong and it never really gave me a chance to get in. So I waited back for a pullback. So I saw that it hit VWAP and it held. So as soon as it did, I bought 300 shares at 2019, and then I saw the next candle held, and then it started moving up. So I added another 200 shares. Let's see here at 9:37. So probably this candle. Yeah, 9:37 at the break of this high right here, 2028. I ended up getting filled here at 2030. So I had 500 shares long. I ended up selling. It just took off. I ended up selling 300 at 2068. So somewhere up here. Yeah, so somewhere up here, and then I held the others probably until it came back down a little bit. So it came back up. I didn't end up selling. Thought I was just gonna keep going higher, but you can never guess with these sort of things. So it came back up, and I started moving my stop loss higher and higher and higher, and it took me out the last 200 shares at 2067. Let's see here. Next trade on SPPI. At that point, I was up like 200 and something dollars. I could have just stopped my day right then and there, and I would have been up more than I have now. So next trend on SPPI was at 9:44. So right here, this candle. Let's see here, 9:44. Yep, actually right here. So I got in at the break of the 2080 mark. I actually ended up getting filled at 2090. Unfortunately, I was looking for a break over this 21, but it got rejected very hard, and it started coming back down. So let's see here. Where did I sell those 500 shares of SPPI? Yeah, if you guys haven't noticed, I over traded the crap out of today, just in general. All right, so I ended up selling it for a loss at 2073. So down here, oh, actually up over here, 2073. Okay, well, good. I got out a little bit earlier and avoided a bigger loss. It looked like it got rejected really hard, so I took that into consideration. If it goes lower than the previous candle, then it's most likely going to fall, and it actually ended up falling. So I took a loss on that one. Now go back to SPPI. My next trade was IBM. Let's see here. IBM 158.07 at 9:47. So actually we're probably over here. Yep, so my first entry was here. First entry was here. I noticed that the market was moving lower, and IBM wasn't very strong at the beginning of the morning, but it gapped up a considerable amount. So if you can see here, IBM gapped up some profit taking, and it just kept on going. So I noticed that it came down to VWAP and it held, and so I ended up getting in long at 158. I got filled at 158.07 with 300 shares, with my stop being a VWAP here, so about 50 cents. Now, where did I sell? I sold 200 shares of IBM at 158.43. I was trying to get it up to 158.50, but it looked like it was having some problems. So it'd go up and come back down, go up, come back down. So I just ended up selling it up 43 cents, 200 shares, and then let's see here. I was still holding on to another 100 shares, but I think I sold it here in this candle, 59. Yeah, so I ended up selling it here at this candle Should have really held it, but it coulda, shoulda, woulda again. Okay, so I was up. I was up on IBM, up 43 cents or so. Now my next trade was AGN. AGN. This is something that was called out by Mayor in the room. I know I took 2 trades on AGN actually. The first trade on AGN at 10:03, so somewhere around here. I think it was calling 10:03. Okay. 10:03. Yeah, so somewhere around here. 192.50. Huh. Okay, let me go to the 5-minute chart here. 192.50. 10 o'clock. So I was up in this candle right here. Okay, so that's what it was. Yeah, so we went short under 190. Yeah, so 192.50. Right at 192.50. We thought it was going to keep going down lower. It actually flashed down under 191. Here, I believe I took my profit on that one. So I ended up buying, let's see here, short 192.50, ended up coming under 192, all 100 shares. Let's see here, AGN. Looks like I ended up going short again under 191 here. Or maybe that was the rest of the shares. Oh, actually, yeah, you know what? I ended up going short at 191.50. It's right there. I covered. Well, actually, no, I added another 192.50. Ended up covering 100 at 190.196, only 50 cents, and went down a little bit lower. Covered the other 100. That's what it was. So the initial thought process behind that was that whenever a stock pulls down, it pulls down hard, it comes back and it pulls back up. You want it to, this itself could be either people trying to buy it low, like investors averaging down, or it could be people or just shorts that are covering. So the stock heads back up, and as soon as it does, after that, there's no more buyers that are actually trying to take the stock back up because it's just so low. It just fell from 197. So you're looking for it to fail, and you take it short under 191.50. So we ended up taking it short, but it ended up actually popping up above our 192.50 stop right here. So it barely kicked us out, and then it continued lower. That was the right stop. I mean, I would still take this. Short every time I saw it. So its initial pull down, it pulls back up, and then you short it on the way back down. But unfortunately, our stop loss was not exactly in the right position. We were initially right, but it ended up not working out. So let's see here. Next trade was on IBM. I overtraded the crap out of IBM today. Let's go back to IBM. At this point, I should have been in the 5-minute chart since it's 10:33. All right, so let's see here. 10:33, probably somewhere around here. Yeah, so I got in right here, this candle at this little bull flag. Yep, at 159.50. I ended up selling. Looks like I ended up selling for a loss on that. Don't know. Yeah, actually, I did end up selling for a loss on that one. My stop really should have been in the bottom of this candle. I was not thinking. I was still watching the market. The SPY during that time was, it looked like it was headed down. I think it was still on a downtrend during that time. So let's see here. Around 10. What was that? That was at 10:30. So right here. Yeah, so the market was still headed on a downtrend, and I wasn't really sure if it was going to stick or not. I should have just stuck with the pattern. I mean, that's a 5-minute bull flag. That should have been a given for me. But I just didn't stick with the right stop, and I suffered a loss because of it. I definitely could have made all of that back and then some. Actually, it ended up breaking up above 160.50 if I would have had the right stop. So that was definitely a mistake on my part. Now, the next one is ABT. Let's see here. Wow, this thing is a mess. All right, so ABT 1057. So right around here, right in this candle. Looks like I was trying to get it for a long, 500 shares long. Ended up selling it 55. Ooh, that's right, actually. I ended up the initial process was I knew it was headed up. It pulled back. It was below VWAP. That's a little iffy. I don't really like to buy stocks that are below VWAP, but I knew that the hold number was here. I ended up buying right here. I was trying to build a position basically because I was going to scalp it over the $56 mark. So I ended up buying some at 55.88. As soon as it hit 56, I bought another 500 shares, which brought me up to 1,000. So now every cent that it moves is about $10. So, and that's $56,000 that I just bought of stock. Now, with scalping it, if it doesn't immediately move over the $56 mark, I get rid of it. So I should have gotten rid of it even faster. So it never actually really broke above the 56 until later, here at 11:05. But that's a failed breakout. So it didn't really quite work. I should have gotten rid of it at 55.97, but I didn't lose much on it. I lost about $70, but my initial thought process behind it was right. Let's see here. Let's see if it actually ended up going higher. Yeah, so it actually did end up going higher, but now it fell off. Yeah, it's not a very big mover, but as you can see, $56 with that stock is a pretty good resistance for it. But if you notice here how it peeps up over 56 and it fails 56, I probably would not have bought it again just because of that. It comes over and it fails. It needs to be able to hold that number and keep heading higher. But at that point, I think the market was still on a downtrend, which kind of puts a lot of the stocks, if you're trying to buy long, it puts them in the opposite direction that you're going, so it's a little bit more risky. So instead of having a 70% chance of scoring, you have a 60% chance. So I took a loss on ABT. Now I bought IBM again, of course. I was a fanboy of IBM today. Let's see here. Oh, that's right. I bought it at the breakout of 160. That's what it was. I bought it at the breakout of 160. And that was at 11:23. I'm going to guess is right here. No, actually, it wasn't. 11:20. Right here. Okay. So I should have bought it over this initial break of 160, but I didn't. I waited for a pullback. And so this is the risk of buying a pullback, because if you're buying a pullback, you're buying something on a red candle, that means the stock is headed down. So a lot of the times it didn't stop. It just didn't stop. It couldn't hold that level at 160, and I had to get rid of it. So I ended up getting rid of it at 159.90. Fortunately, I got rid of it pretty fast. And I didn't suffer a major loss from it, but as you can see, it came all the way down to 159.76, which is, considerably. Actually, no, it ended up coming down all the way to 159.18. So good thing that I got rid of it very fast. That's why I have that rule with whole number scalping, is if it doesn't hold the level, you have to get out of it. So I took another small loss there on SPPI, or I mean on IBM. Now, let's see here. I went back to SPPI at 11:28. Let's see here. Oh. SPPI. I think I was trying to build a position over. Yeah, over VWAP. So I bought SPPI at 1128. I guess probably somewhere around here. Yep, right in this candle right here. Okay, so I bought it here with a stop at VWAP because I was thinking that it was going to break over 21. It didn't break over 21. It actually ended up falling below VWAP, which my stop was right here at 2040. As you can see, I got stopped out. But initially, my thought process was wrong. Was right. I was thinking it was going to break over 21, so I got stopped out. I kept it on one of my other monitors, and I saw it after it sold off all the way to 20. It held to 20, and then it just started shooting back up. It just came straight back up. I started hovering here around the 21 mark. I was still watching it, and I was going to scalp it. So I ended up buying, skip over this to the SPI trade. I bought 1,000 shares right at 21. I ended up selling 800 at 21.13, and I saw the other 200 at 21.19. Now that I see this and notice that, and I saw the stock going almost all the way up to $22, I was kicking myself. But at least it brought me back into green territory, and you can't really look at it that way, because if you always look at a stock like, oh, I could have held it a little bit longer, yeah, but I also could have lost, $300, $400, $500 on it. So I mean, I definitely did the right thing by selling it into some profit. I probably could have held it a little bit higher, maybe 21.50, but you never know how high these stocks are going to go. Or let's just say that I ended up, holding till over here. Look at this candle. It fell all the way from 21.96 and it went all the way down to 20.85. Like that's $230. That's, you never know. You never really know. So now, let's see here. I was in the green. Now let me go back to the trader on IBM right here. Bought it at 12.01. Ended up buying it right here. Yeah, so after it pulled back, it held. I was thinking it was going to come down to VWAP, but it didn't. Otherwise, I would have bought it after the first 5-minute candle and make a new high. But it didn't. I was still watching this 160 mark, and I ended up buying it right at the break of 160. During that time, the high was 160, 160.65 during that time. So I was thinking it's going to come back to high a day because the market was actually headed higher. Actually, hold on. Let me do this. Show you guys what I was thinking during that time. So the SPY, 5 minutes. So this is the beauty of trading large cap stocks. So I noticed that this is yesterday's closing price on the SPY. So it ended up gapping up. A lot of the times, 80% of the time, the stock will actually fall to fill the gap. It didn't exactly fill the gap, but it was very close. And we were down here, let's see here. We were right around here, around 12. So I noticed that it got very close to filling the gap. And then the market just started going higher. As soon as that happened, IBM is part of the NASDAQ, which is the top 100 companies, which is also in the SPY, which is 80% of most of the companies that are out in the market. And IBM being a very, very large company that helps move the NASDAQ, which also helps move the SPY, which if they're headed higher, that means the stock is, if the SPY is moving higher, that means IBM is going to most likely move with the market. So that was my thought process behind it. I ended up buying it at 160. I held it till about, let's see here. See, I bought it right there at 160. Oh, there we go. 12.20. Yeah, so I ended up buying it at 160. I sold 200 at 160.38, and then I sold the last at 160.18. So then that gave me the grand total of $173. So that's how I ended up with that. If you guys do have any questions, make sure to leave them down in the comment section below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel for any upcoming videos. And follow me on Twitter as well. All right, I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.